Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is your host with the biggest nose, Jay-Z Courtside, coming at y'all today on Wednesday, December 17th. And oh boy, your New York Knicks are NBA Cup champions. Can you believe it? For the first time in 52 years, your New York Knicks have lifted a trophy. Now, I know what y'all are thinking. This might not be much, but it's honest work. The New York Knicks took out the Spurs, and don't worry, I have all the details about everything that mattered regarding this game. I know a lot of you guys are probably wondering that this episode is probably going to be a shorter one. Now, it might be a tiny bit shorter because how long can I talk about one game, right? But I assure y'all, I prepared a very, very, very interactive, for podcast listeners and anybody that listens to this after the fact, and my live crew in particular. This episode is going to be, you guys know how I do. Is this true? Is this a trend? True or false? Factor cap, all that stuff. We came up with a fun, different segment. I say we, it's just me. I came up with a fun segment that I think you guys will thoroughly enjoy today. So be sure to stick around until the end. Before we get started, podcast listeners, be sure to leave a 5-star rating and review. Live crew in the TikTok, be sure to keep spamming your fingers on that like button. Keep double tapping that screen. YouTube, drop a like, subscribe. And Twitch, all y'all got to do is just enjoy the show, man. Sit back, relax, grab a coffee, and enjoy the show. Look handsome. Let's get it. We are starting off. Well, actually, we're not really starting off. It's the only game we have. The New York Knicks lift their very first trophy for the first time in 52 years. Now, it might not be a championship trophy, but it's an NBA Cup, United Emirates. It's an Emirates Cup championship cup thing. And they won. And can I be honest? That first half, if you guys didn't watch this game, here's the word of the day. I implore y'all to go watch this game back, because in the first half, OG Anunoby went ahead and dropped 20 points in the first half, doing his best Jalen Brunson impersonation. And he was about the only person that truly showed up for the Knicks in the first half. Like, genuinely. I'll be so honest about Karl-Anthony Towns. He turned the hell up. I believe it was in the second half. He started really playing well, courtesy of Wemby having a bad game. Now, we will talk about the extra details and the extracurriculars, of course, stuff that we found out after the game, but we're going in order here. OG hit a huge three late in the game and then missed another huge one that kept the Spurs in the game. But I think the MVP of this game, not of the cup, obviously Jalen Brunson won the NBA Cup MVP, even though he had a horrible game last night, 25 points, 11 for 27, very inefficient night for Jalen Brunson. I think the MVP of this New York Knicks team is Mitchell Robinson. I mean, can we be so real about why Mitch Johnson didn't do what every single team does when they're up against the Knicks? The whole time I was screaming, foul him, foul him, foul him. It's just like fouling up three. Foul him, get him off the basketball court. Why were you trying against Mr. Robinson? None of the Cornette, Harrison Barnes, Wemby, none of them could grab a single thing over Mitchell Robinson. Wemby was not in it. I guess I may as well just touch base on this right now, just so that I don't have to say it again later, even though I probably will. Sending my condolences. Okay. Sending my condolences. I can't say the fucking word anymore. Condolences. There you go. Sending my regards, my prayers to Victor Wembanyama and his grandmother, who passed away the morning of this game. I had no idea. I had absolutely no idea that none of us did, that Wemby's grandmother passed yesterday morning. And something real quick, before we talk more basketball, I'm seeing a lot of Knicks fans, and I'm not even going to call them a Knicks fan, because you can't be a fan of anything with an attitude like this. But they were saying good, They were saying after they found out that news, they said, yeah, he still played like ass. Now, I'm a guy that likes keeping it on the court, but let's take it off the court real quick. I feel, I feel for him. I think a lot of times, especially with sports, especially as grown men who, since we couldn't make the NBA, we treat it as if we are in the NBA, right? And we say we when our team wins, we say we're champions, we say we lost that one badly, right? We're not actually a part of the team, right? And sometimes players go through things in life that we go through things, because at the end of the day, we're all just human. The only difference between me and Victor Wembanyama, aside from a foot, is that he's better at basketball and he's taller than me. He's still a human that lost his grandmother. And he's still on a minutes restriction as well. So he just could not get in a rhythm. Apparently there's footage of him walking off the bench at the end of the first half because he had to go in the back and just cry. So my condolences again to Victor Wembanyama and him losing his grandmother. It's incredibly unfortunate, but now that we've talked about that, I can talk freely about Wembanyama's basketball play, correct? I think I'm in the clear now to just stick about basketball. I understand he lost his grandmother. It's incredibly depressing, and I'm sending my prayers out to him. But now I want to talk about him on the court. He still had his minutes restriction, and he turned up in the third quarter, at the end of the third quarter. But in the fourth quarter, unfortunately, he was abysmal. And that's going to happen. I'm not going to overreact from Wembanyama playing poorly on the same day he lost his grandmother, right? I'm getting told in the TikTok he's going to be one of the greats. Stop. Jay, this is my job. I'm going to be honest about basketball. You don't like it? Leave. Go watch somebody else. Because this is me being honest, and this is me talking about basketball. And last night's basketball for Victor Wembanyama, unfortunately, in the fourth quarter, -18, 7 for 17 from the field. And I felt like he was rushing things. I think because prior to us knowing that he lost his grandmother, I think with the minutes restriction only being able to play 25 minutes, I got to be honest, it felt like he was rushing things. And I would probably do the same exact thing as well. You know, if I know I'm only going to be able to play this amount of time, then I'm going to be throwing up everything possible. And I feel like that's what Wemby was doing last night. De'Aaron Fox did not have a good game. I felt like he started it really, really strong and then just played horribly. Honestly, I get told a lot by my Spurs fans that De'Aaron Fox is easily one of the top point guards in the NBA, and I have to easily disagree. I disagreed about it before the season, and I'm disagreeing about it now. I will be so honest when I say this, and I hope Spurs fans don't throw tomatoes at me when I say this. Obviously, we all know De'Aaron Fox was the target for the San Antonio Spurs to get, right, last trade deadline, and they got him. Luckily, but unfortunately, unluckily, they ended up getting the number 2 pick in the NBA draft. You know what I mean? So you couldn't have predicted this. You could not have predicted getting De'Aaron Fox. You could not have predicted getting Dylan Harper in the draft. So I am not going to say, oh, they regret doing it, because everything happens for a reason. But what I will say is, I think I'm at the point now where I can say comfortably next year, in the offseason or the trade deadline, they should highly consider shopping De'Aaron Fox. Get whatever pieces you can for him. I think Dylan Harper is ready, and I think he's showing us that he's ready. Obviously, he hit 5 threes last night. That's not gonna happen every night. But the amount of intensity that Dylan Harper shows really reminds me of his father after watching so much of the Bulls. When I was growing up, just watching back all that tape and stuff. He really looks like Ron Harper, his dad. And I think Dylan Harper, one thing that stands out is his defense. I'm going to be honest. Jalen Brunson, as bad as he was last night, but as great as he's been his career, right? One thing that I've truly noticed about Jalen Brunson is when he's having an off night from shooting, when he's getting hounded on defense, I now understand why he starts flopping, why he starts whipping his head back. Because last night he was doing it again. Jalen Brunson has not been foul baiting whatsoever this year. But when the games are close and he's having a bad shooting night, like against the Celtics a couple weeks ago, all of a sudden, that head whip comes back. It's very interesting because I had a viewer of mine, a Magic fan, so take this with a grain of salt. He said whenever he starts shooting poorly, he starts whipping that head back and forth. And it's true. Now, the referees weren't rewarding it, so I'm not going to get upset. Thank you, referees. Honestly, I think the refs let him play overall. Like in the first quarter, I felt like it moved really fast. And then they sort of slowed the game down in the second quarter. Fit more ad breaks, you know? But yeah, I noticed that Jalen Brunson, whenever they're losing, whenever they start slowing down, whenever he's having a bad shooting night in particular, he starts whipping that head back and forth. It wasn't working last night, so we're not even going to discuss it. Josh Hart, I thought, played incredibly well, even though he didn't fill the stat sheet. He played very, very well. Cat, I did not like his lack of aggression in the first half, but that's sort of how Karl-Anthony Towns is. He needs to hit a three before he can actually lock in, and he was bullying Wemby for the portion of the fourth quarter when he came back into the game. I hope he's not hurt. I know that calf has been bothering him lately. But again, OG Anunoby was absolutely incredible, and I've been talking about OG for a long time now. And I'll be honest, when I say this, every team in the NBA wishes they had OG Anunoby. Not a player like OG Anunoby. I'm talking about actual OG Anunoby. This guy's a monster, man. I love this player so much. And I'll be honest with everybody here. If the New York Knicks did not have OG Anunoby, I can confidently tell you that I, as a Pistons fan, am not worried about the New York Knicks. I could tell you that, and I think even Knicks fans will agree. With Jalen Brunson, with Karl-Anthony Towns, with Mikal Bridges, with those players, they don't scare me. You throw OG Anunoby in the middle of all of this, they're the most terrifying team in the East, and that's why they're still my favorites come out of the East. OG Anunoby is what I pray Asar Thompson turns into. Now, Asar is the better defender because of his length and his agility and his lateral quickness, but OG Anunoby is better at everything else. Decision-making, obviously, he's older and he's more seasoned. His corner three, I don't think y'all truly understand. If Amen Thompson and Asar Thompson gain the ability to shoot those corner threes, they are undisputed the best two-way players in the NBA. Undisputed at that point. They are the definition of 3-and-D. Because I feel like we've lost that we call people 3-and-D when they play a lick of defense. And then suddenly, they hit 1-3 a night. For now, I can tell you right now that OG Anunoby is the blueprint for every single team. Every single team. Every team wishes they had OG because he's incredible. He's very, very good. Now, I was concerned about Mikal Bridges, but I think he did come back at the end of the game. I think he did. But he had a bad game, 4 for 12. And I feel like this sort of happens every big game. You don't have just Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby have a good game together. Remind me. I don't know. I feel like one or the other always has a good game because when one's having a good game, you already know you can rely on Cat and Jalen Brunson to an extent. I believe the New York Knicks are they 10-1 since starting Josh Hart? And yeah, the team is just firing from all cylinders. They're playing incredibly well. And I've said it since the beginning of the season. The New York Knicks are my Thunder team from last year. Now, I don't think they're as good as the Thunder, but at the beginning of the season last year, I wasn't covering the NBA at this point, but I was watching as a fan, and I'm still watching as a fan. The Oklahoma City Thunder last year had to make the finals. That was my way. I said the Oklahoma City Thunder has to make the finals. And at the beginning of the year, as you guys can remember, we all said at the beginning of last year, correct me if I'm wrong, we all said, I didn't know any of y'all at that time, but we all said the Boston Celtics are going to repeat. They're going to be the first team in 6 years to bring a back-to-back champion. I remember saying that. Everybody remembers saying that. And then they just didn't click last year. They had injuries in and out of the lineup and blah, blah, blah. I'm not blaming Tatum for going down. The Knicks already won this series prior to Tatum going down. But now we're saying the same thing again with the Oklahoma City Thunder, except they are even more dominant than they were last year, right? I do have to interrupt myself because I feel like idiots in the TikTok stream are just delusional. There's a guy in the TikTok spamming a message saying Spurs lost because Wemby lost his grandmother. That's not why they lost. That's not why they lost. It plays a part as to why they lost. Wembanyama had a bad game. We can say it's because he lost his grandmother. And I send my condolences again to him. But they didn't lose because of that. The Knicks were the better team. They abused them on the offensive glass. Wemby and Cornette could not stop Mitchell Robinson. So again, I want to talk about my point. I feel as though The New York Knicks are almost exactly like what I was predicting about the Oklahoma City Thunder from last year. Genuinely. If the Knicks do not make the finals at the bare minimum, it is a failed season. Guys, this team is not young by any means. They are not young by any means. The second apron is going to catch up to them because, in case you guys don't know, teams that get better through trades and free agency have lower odds than teams that are homegrown. In case you don't know, none of their players are homegrown, right? So when you look at the roster, they're not going to be able to afford Mikal Bridges. They're not going to be able to afford OG Anunoby. They're not going to be able to afford Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart. With the second apron, you need to grow their team through the draft, through rookie extensions. So the Knicks need to make the finals this year. They don't have as much time as the Oklahoma City Thunder, as the Detroit Pistons, as the Indiana Pacers, as the teams that have drafted their players like the Boston Celtics and stuff, right? I'm seeing some people in the TikTok really just spewing a bunch of hate directed at me, saying I only watch highlights. I literally neglect my fiance every single night to watch basketball. She knows that. She can attest to that. I want to watch Orange is the New Black, but unfortunately, I'm watching the NBA Cup Championship. Okay? TikTok, make sure you get away from all the idiots in there and come through to the Twitch stream because it's actually disgusting. I'm seeing some people in there talking about how the Knicks smoked them and Wemby's grandmother dying doesn't matter. So be sure to swing on into the Twitch stream like my homies Whitewater, love that name, and G-Star. Shout out to both of you guys for leaving the TikTok and coming through to the Twitch stream. My man Whitewater came into the Twitch and said, what if the Knicks players take pay cuts? How much can they work it out? Now, I'm never going to say a player should take a pay cut because that's way above my pay grade. I'm not taking a pay cut. If I'm in the NBA, I'm doing exactly what Carmelo Anthony did to an extent. I remember when I was in high school and it was a debate where Carmelo Anthony was going to re-sign and the Bulls offered him a 4-year, $77 million, and the Knicks offered him, I believe, a 4-year, $150 million. So I'm not taking that pay cut. If I'm OG Anunoby or something, I mean, listen, this team is not young, guys. This is why I'm trying to tell y'all. And I see people say that JB took a pay cut. Do you guys understand? Jalen Brunson was not like that when he took that pay cut. I hate seeing that Jalen Brunson took a pay cut, blah, blah, blah. He wasn't like that when he took that pay cut. He missed out, I think, on $14 million just so that he can get the team around him. You're talking $14 million versus a contract that, for example, Jalen Brunson or Karl Anthony Towns will be up for being $150 to $200 million. People are telling me he was due for a $260 million contract. TikTok, that is incredibly wrong. You cannot sign that. You cannot sign a $260 million contract with a team that you didn't start off. You cannot do that. You guys are just now making up things in the TikTok. All right, TikTok, if you guys want me to actually read your message, be sure to come through to the Twitch stream. I'm blocking the TikTok message out. JB signed a year earlier, leaving $113 million on the table. He signed a year earlier because of his, I'm pretty confident he said because nothing's guaranteed in this NBA. And then people spun it and said that he did it for his players and everything else. But I'm pretty confident he meant that nothing was guaranteed in the NBA, so he took that money, and now it looks like he took a pay cut for the rest of this roster. Okay? Anyways, I'm going to continue my conversation about this team. The New York Knicks are exactly what I predicted that I think the Thunder are doing last year. They have to make the finals this year. I'm not saying they have to win the finals. We understand. Find me. Okay, can someone, you guys are going to keep talking about this. Send me a link, a verified link in the Twitch stream that tells me that Brunson audibly came out and said he took a pay cut for his teammates. I'd love to. Here, actually, I'll just Google it. Did Brunson take a pay cut for his teammates? We're not going to read what Gemini says. Okay, so $113. Okay, they mean $1 million. This is talking about the post-finals. Okay, so the team swung and hit on a massive blockbuster trade to reunite Mikal Bridges with Villanova buddies, and then follow the Grand Slam by re-signing OG Anunoby to a 5-year, $212 million. Just this weekend, Brunson afforded the squad room for an additional 8 on the roster, passing up $113 million to make a team-friendly 4-year, $156 million deal. Brunson did so with clear intentions to help New York to its starry roster. He still made $170 157 million, but he gave up more money, over 100 million. Oh, worthy of his contract. Okay, I was wrong. Good call. I'll take it to the chin. I admit I was wrong. He only made 157 million. I apologize, everybody. I was wrong. Thank you for correcting me. Now, I'm going to continue with this game from last night. Thank you for everybody for correcting me. So, the New York Knicks this year have to make the finals. Otherwise, this is a failed season. And then that's where Knicks fans are going to start sort of going around and debating what we need to do. Because if the team cannot win this year, in my opinion, this is the best team the New York Knicks have ever had in my lifetime. Obviously, I was 1 year old when they made the finals last. My dad came to America the last time they won any championship. Literally 1973. My dad came to America from Iraq. So, hey, shout out Jalen Brunson for taking a pay cut of 113 million. He only makes 157 million. So shout out to Brunson. But my overall consensus on this team is that the timeline is not nearly as long as anybody else, right? So we'll see if they take pay cuts. I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see if they take pay cuts to stay on this team. But they have OG locked up. They got Brunson locked up for, I think, for another 2 years or something. In my honest opinion, I don't see Karl Anthony Towns staying with this team. I don't think Cat enjoys himself there. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like he did the same thing in Minnesota, though. In my honest opinion, he did the same thing in Minnesota. He just straight up, does not look involved. And then when he hits a shot, then he gets involved. I don't know. Nobody wants to keep taking pay cuts, maybe once, but I don't know about after that. No, Brunson's going to want to get paid. Brunson is definitely want to get paid. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's all I'll say. For now on the Knicks championship aspirations, they are still my favorites to come out of the East. As a Pistons fan, the New York Knicks are a much better team, and it's going to be very interesting to see how this the rest of the season pans out. I hope nothing but pure health for every single team in the NBA. It's going to be very, very interesting. And I'm curious to see how far they can take the potential Thunder or the Denver Nuggets. Now, I'll be honest when I say this, it might be a sweep if it's against the Thunder. I can't, maybe one game. As an unbiased fan of both teams, I can't see a team beating the Oklahoma City Thunder in 7 games this year so far. It's a long season. And I'm very interested. Now, I think the Knicks road is definitely going to be a lot harder than everybody thinks. I think the Pistons are going to be a tough 6-7 games, genuinely, and that's if they can get past them. If the Knicks can't get past the Pistons, then they got to trade everybody for Giannis at that point. When I say everybody, it's going to end up being OG Anunoby and Cat, which they just can't afford to do because you lose OG, it's not going to look good. It's just not going to look good. So we'll see. We shall see. Apparently, everybody in the TikTok is just spamming 6-7. So if you guys want your comments read, be sure to swing on into the Twitch stream because I'm not going to read any of your messages with all the 6-7 spam in the TikTok. So shout out to Whitewater and G-Star for coming through to the Twitch stream. I appreciate y'all. Hopefully, we can see more of y'all come through from the TikTok into the Twitch stream. It's Jay-Z Uncut on Twitch. The link is in my bio. I'm not going to be able to read any message with all that 6-7 spam in there. Okay. I've been speaking on the Knicks side. I sort of want to talk a little bit more on the Spurs side. Spurs fans, feel free to come out and defend yourselves. Harrison Barnes, my boy, I've been gassing you up all damn year, and now you just forgot how to shoot threes. It's very unfortunate because had those threes dropped, this is a whole different game. He shot 0 for 4 from the 3, 4 for 9 from the field. He was playing well in the first half. I thought he was being aggressive and driving to the hoop, but unfortunately, his 3-point shot abandoned him. Unfortunately, Luke Cornett had a pretty decent game. He couldn't grab rebounds. Victor Wembanyama, we talked about him already. Abysmal fourth quarter. It happens. He lost his grandma, a million other excuses, but there's no reason that this Spurs team did not intentionally foul Mitchell Robinson. I don't see why they didn't do it. Why did they not intentionally foul Mitchell Robinson? He was killing them. You allowed this guy to get 15 rebounds, 10 of them on the offensive glass. That doesn't work. If it works for every single team, you got to foul. He shoots 17% from the free throw line. Get him off the court. I was like, Stan Van Gundy and Ian Eagle and D Wade kept talking about how like prolific he is and how they were gassing up how good his rebounding ability is. Okay, follow him. Get him out. I think they genuinely just lost to Mitchell Robinson. How many second chance points did both teams have? The Knicks had 32 second chance points. The Spurs had 28. Why did they not just follow him? They had 23 offensive rebounds, and Mitchell Robinson had 15 of them, or 10 of them. I don't know, man. In my honest opinion, you follow Mitchell Robinson, and this isn't even a game because he's the one that gassed everybody up. It was unbelievable. Bro, you can't get this guy off the glass. Follow him. And I hate to play lame, but like if you're trying to win this game, you guys could have had an extra 500 grand in your pocket had you just followed him. Hack a Shaq, hack a Drummond. It's been in the NBA for a long, long time. They should have just followed him. I'm telling you, in the fourth quarter, watching this guy just get up, get up, get up, get up, get up. I was like, okay. I was like, you have a 7'5" guy in the court, and that's not enough. How about you put Luke Cornett in there too, and maybe you can start grabbing some rebounds. It just wasn't working. The Spurs, I think Mitch Johnson definitely sold by not intentionally following him because I see other teams intentionally follow him and get him out of the game, and then they kill him. Genuinely. You guys remember that game from 2 weeks ago? The Celtics bring out every dirty, abusive mechanic call in the game. The Celtics do that. They target the weakest defender. They set 10 screens to get the weakest defender on them, and they abuse it. The Celtics abuse the worst free throw shooting player on the court by intentionally fouling him. That's what they do. So I don't know why the Spurs just didn't do that. They could have won. They could have won had they shut him out the game. And I gotta talk about De'Aaron Fox again, man. I gotta talk about De'Aaron Fox again. I was being told by this guy Quickscoping in the Twitch chat that he is undisputed one of the best point guards in the NBA right now. And I'd like to just point out that I know you weren't expecting having Dylan Harper on your team, but at this point, me as an unbiased fan, I'm ready to just give Dylan Harper the keys. I'm ready to trade De'Aaron Fox, even though I just got him, and let Dylan Harper exceed. Straight up. I love Dylan Harper. This guy's defense is night and day better than De'Aaron. De'Aaron Fox does not play a lick of defense. There was a play at the end of the game where they needed a stop, and it was Josh Hart that hit a pull-up three. Bro, he was standing just like this. And then when he started putting the shot up, he went, the ball's already out of his hand. De'Aaron Fox does not play a lick of defense. Even at the end of the game, I got so pissed off when I saw that because I think they were down by 2. It was when they went during that cold spree. And De'Aaron Fox just invited Josh Hart to shoot a 3. Mind you, there was 3 seconds left on the shot clock. He's going to shoot. And he's standing there with his arms down. Go watch that play again. Come back and let me know what you thought of it. Because I'm telling you, I'm watching De'Aaron Fox play and I'm getting pissed off for the Spurs fans out there. Genuinely. I got a great question from Whitewater. Shout out Whitewater. He came to the Twitch stream from the TikTok. Detail, I'd love for you to come to the Twitch stream. Link in my bio. Jaden, come through to the Twitch. W4, come through to the Twitch. All you guys, come through to the Twitch. Link in my bio. Jay-Z Uncut on Twitch. Whitewater said, do you do the hack of Robinson early in the fourth and live in the penalty? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think so, because they weren't fouling at all game. Here's what I'll say about the hack of Robinson. Hack-a-Shack. We'll just call it Hack-a-Shack because it flows better, right? The Hack-a-Shack works because you are getting the best player on that team off the floor. And in that fourth quarter, Mitchell Robinson won the Knicks that game. As soon as he started the fourth quarter, it was over. It was over. Here's the thing, though. You got to play to the referees. So if they start doing that and Brunson starts flopping even more, Brunson was doing that head flip. I did not say he was flopping. He was doing that head whip all fourth quarter, all second half, because he couldn't get a shot down. You can go watch the game back. I'm not making this up. Every time Jalen Brunson absorbed any sort of contact, Jalen Brunson was not good last night. Knicks fans, you can attest to that. But he was just doing that head whip every time he was getting touched down the game. And he only does that when he's missing his shots. So if they're not calling that little head whip, you're good. Follow him. Brunson is an incredible player, one of my favorite players to watch in the league, not when he's against my team, but he's one of my favorite players in the NBA to watch. But oh my God, it's so annoying when he's having a bad night and he just starts doing that head whip. It's aggravating because he doesn't need to do that. Stop it. Stop it. Stop. Again, I'm staying true to what I said. I have some very key takeaways from this game, right? I think the Spurs need to get off of De'Aaron Fox as soon as possible. That's okay. They're not going to win the championship this year. It's fine. We all can accept that. They're early. The Spurs are early. Just like how the Pistons are early, these teams are early. You're not going to win the championship. De'Aaron Fox will help you in the playoffs. But De'Aaron Fox is not going to help you win a championship. And I think you eventually need to move on from him. I think they'll more so do it in the offseason. But I think you can get a lot back for De'Aaron Fox. Just think about it this way. A lot of teams need a point guard right now. A lot of teams need a point guard. The Heat, the Timberwolves, the Rockets. A lot of teams need a point guard right now. I think they can get a lot for De'Aaron Fox. The Mavs. That's just my honest opinion. I know it would hurt their team's success this year, but I promise y'all, it would help Dylan Harper grow even faster. At least Dylan Harper's defense is better than all the other guards on defense. And he's a rookie. He's a rookie. Bro, Dylan Harper is 19 years old. And his defense looks already like the best on his team. Obviously, excluding Wemby. But everybody else on the court, you can't tell me. Castle too, bro. I love Stephon Castle. I love Castle. But unfortunately, Vassell had a great start to this game. Ended up shooting 4 for 14. His shot just was not falling. De'Aaron Fox, again, I've dug into him enough. I'm not going to talk any more about him. But I love Dylan Harper, Stephon Castle, and Devin Vassell, man. And Harrison Barnes obviously had a bad night. He's been shooting poorly the last couple games. Yeah, I think it will help a lot. Yeah, absolutely. I agree that Stephon Castle and Dylan Harper and Devin Vassell will all improve much, much faster with the removal of De'Aaron Fox. But we shall see, man. I'll be honest, though. I just think the Knicks, like, I didn't even talk about their bench. This is why you get a Jordan Clarkson. I got to give him credit where credit is due. Jordan Clarkson has been in the NBA for a long time. I think, what is he, like 34? Maybe even older? He's top 10 in bench scoring in NBA history. He's 33. Been in the league for 11 years. Jordan Clarkson is so hit or miss. He's so hit or miss. He's got 3 opportunities, and if he misses all 3 shots, he's not playing for the rest of the game. If he makes 1 out of those 3, all he's got to do is hit 1 more, and he's just going to keep chucking that thing. Jordan Clarkson's been doing this entire career. He's the definition of a heat check. If he's hitting his shots, you lose. Straight up. I can't remember a team so similar that had a player like that off their bench, where if they're hitting their shot, I can actually. 2023 Boston Celtics. Sorry, 2024 Boston Celtics. If Peyton Pritchard is coming in and hitting his shots, you lose. Another great example is J.R. Smith. Thank you. That's a great example, Whitewater. Great example. Yeah, I don't think did Lou Will ever win a championship? Did he win in 2020 with the Lakers? Y'all let me know. I don't remember. Lou Will was on that team, right? He's an NBA champion, I think. No, he was on the Clippers. No, he was on the Clippers. I knew he was in LA. I just couldn't remember what team. No, you can't say like Kyle Korver. I'm talking about like literally a guy that's just a heat check. You know, Pritchard hits a shot, it's over when it's on the bench. Well, if Jordan Clarkson hits shots off the bench, it's over. You know, like Kyle Korver was expected to do that. Produced by yourself. If you're enjoying the stream, media, if you're enjoying the stream and the TikTok, you would enjoy the Twitch stream much, much more, guys. Jay-Z Uncut, link in my bio. Come through, get involved with the conversation, y'all. It's a much better experience than TikTok. If you come to 3 streams in a row over here, Tristan, on Twitch, I'll gift you a sub so you no longer get ads. All right, let me go on to Tyler Kolek as well. Knicks fans, do we want to keep him? I know it's unfortunate for Tyler Kolek because this game doesn't count. Stats, the win, none of it counts. And yeah, he played well, man. And you know, I hate that like most of what he did great doesn't even show up in the box score either. And now it really won't show up in the box score because it doesn't exist. This game it doesn't count for anything as far as like stats or records go. Tyler Kolek looked great, bro. I was watching Tyler Kolek and I was like, wow, would love this guy on the Pistons. Straight up. He's a really fun player to watch. And I think he's going to be in the NBA for a long time if he's given the opportunity. I know Knicks fans hype up that one random white boy like every 5 years. But I think this guy can stick around, man. I think this guy can stick around. This is all while missing Landry Shamet and Deuce McBride. Something I will admit, though, is the guards for the Knicks were getting killed. They were getting killed. Knicks, I think the only thing that y'all can improve upon is defense. I think that's all y'all can improve upon. Otherwise, this team is it. This team is so good. And I'll be honest, man. I think watching this team and watching the Pistons as much as I do, I think that series is like, that might be the series of the playoffs. That might be the series. That in the Eastern Conference for sure. Detroit versus New York. And in the West, it's probably Oklahoma and Denver. I think those are the two series that like are my dream watches again. And honestly, I think they both go 7. I think they both go 7, and I don't think I can come up with a conclusion. I know I told y'all that the Knicks have to make the finals, otherwise it's a failed season. So that's their goal. The Pistons, hey man, listen, we're playing with house money right now. We're playing with house money. We weren't supposed to make this leap, and yet we have. The Pistons still have no shooting. The good thing about the Knicks is that like the Knicks have guys for Cade Cunningham, but they don't have guys for Jalen Duren, Isaiah Stewart, and we were missing Isaiah Stewart in the playoff series last year. The Pistons were missing Jaden Ivey and Isaiah Stewart. And y'all see, listen, I know a lot of you guys are actually watching more of the Pistons. You know why? Because there's a statistic that shows that the Detroit Pistons right now have the biggest audience on League Pass. So I know a lot of people are starting to watch the Pistons. 97% increase from last season. 97% increase for the Detroit Pistons viewership this season. You're telling me we have Mitch, but Mitch is not the thing about the Pistons is last night what I was watching, right? I was like, yo, I asked a genuine question to my Discord. So if you're watching on Twitch, be sure to join the Discord. I said, do the Spurs and Knicks suck on getting defensive rebounds? And they all sort of told me, yeah, but the Knicks are really good at getting offensive rebounds because of Mitchell Robinson. And I was like, yeah, that's true. I know that. But because as a Pistons fan, I don't see offensive rebounds happen against us. And I think that's why it was so surprising to me. We lead the league in secured defensive rebounds, other than the Houston Rockets. And we also lead the league in the least amount of second chance points given up. So you can tell me that you have Mitchell Robinson, but the Pistons have Isaiah Stewart and Jalen Duren. And last year against the Knicks, they were missing Isaiah Stewart and Jaden Ivey. So it's going to be very interesting. I don't know who would come up on top. But I think Mitchell Robinson and what he does is very valuable to this team. It's going to be very interesting. I love this comment on the TikTok. What happened in the first round last year, buddy? I just said what happened last year. I just said that. And there's a comment I love seeing in the Twitch. Jay said, not going to lie, nobody is worried about Stewart. Having Stewart and Duren hurts your offense? Congratulations, Whitewater and Jay. You guys just proved to me that you only watch the New York Knicks. I don't even think I need to say anything. Jalen Duren and Isaiah Stewart offensively have two of the highest in any duo in the entire NBA and plus minus. You just invited me the answer to your question. Isaiah Stewart is our best percentage three-point shooter on the Pistons. You just confirmed to me, Whitewater, that you do not know anything about the Detroit Pistons. Congratulations, you're a Knicks fan. You don't know anything about any other team. Okay, thank you. You just killed yourself because the lineup of Duren and Stu both have the highest plus minus in anybody in the league, in any front court in the NBA. I hate when people spew BS as an argument. Look up things, watch the sport, and then you tell me we will see in the playoffs. Okay. It's just, if you're going to bring that sort of garbage energy, stay in the TikTok stream, genuinely. Because if you're going to come in here and spew nonsense, we're not going to have it. You said, not going to lie, nobody is worried about Isaiah Stewart. But when Isaiah Stewart played against Karl-Anthony Towns, he held him to 27% three-point shooting and 27% shooting from the field in all matchups against them in the regular season. So it's funny. It's funny. Yeah, you did not know that Isaiah Stewart was dropping 40% from the three, but you said floor spacing gets killed. We're not going to talk about the Pistons. There's no need. Isaiah Stewart and Jalen Duren are the best front court in the NBA right now. And that's why the whole Anthony Davis stuff didn't make any sense. Let's move on to our next topic. Do you care about the NBA Cup? Do you care about the NBA Cup? I do. I think the NBA Cup was a lot of fun. I think this year, the NBA Cup was a joy. I know we have a bunch of Knicks fans in our chat right now victory lapping over the NBA Cup. Had they lost, they would have said, no, they don't care. But because they won, it's going to be good. If you want a victory lap, like I said, just go do it on Twitter. Go do it in the TikTok stream because we ain't got time for that in the Twitch. All right. TikTok, if you guys are enjoying the stream, be sure to swing on into the Twitch stream. The link is in my bio. Jay-Z Uncut on Twitch. Again, that's Jay-Z Uncut on Twitch, TikTok. If you guys want your messages read, be sure to swing on to the Twitch. I care about the cup. I think the cup was a great addition, and I'll admit, 3 years ago, yeah, I wouldn't be saying that. It wasn't good. But I think it's a lot of fun. I genuinely think it's a lot of fun. I genuinely believe it's a lot of fun. I think something that I'm noticing, though, is there's a lot of losers in the Knicks fan base, and I just don't have time for them. So if you want to bring this sort of energy in my chat, I just don't care. You can stay in the TikTok stream where I won't read your messages. So, my opinion, I think the NBA Cup is great for the sport. I genuinely believe the NBA Cup is great because, I mean, point blank period, it's December, y'all. It's NFL season. I liked how, that was a great point, Papo. It's easily accessible to watch every single Cup game. It was all on Prime. I thought it was great. I thought it was a lot of fun. And it's December and we're watching NBA, you know? It's December and we're watching the NBA. This is football season. So the fact that we are over here watching an NBA Cup. I think the only bad thing about the Cup are the courts. The courts are horrendous. I like the court last night. I like the court that they had in Vegas, just because I just like the Cup. You know, I like the Cup on the court. I think it's cool. But yeah, the courts are hideous. What's his name? Victor Solomon? Victor Solomon? No, Victor Solomon, fire his ass because those courts are horrendous. Okay. It's very smart for the NBA to have these games on a Tuesday, on nights where they don't have football. Okay. I have a viewer named Solo in the Twitch chat who thinks he's funny. He said football season. Bruh, it was Tuesday. Yeah, there's not football this week. You're right. So I'm going to continue. I think the NBA Cup was very, very good. I think it was, I think it's a great addition to the game because normally people don't they don't care about December basketball. They don't care about November basketball. They don't care about and it makes it fun. It makes it fun. It adds a little incentive in the NBA. But we do have a very, very interesting topic. A segment that I thought of, and I think it's funny. Y'all can holler at me and let me know. So the reason why I asked if y'all care about the cup, right, is because something that I've noticed is that you guys remember one of those like biggest memes about something along the lines of this team, would you rather do this or this? So this segment is called Would You Rather? Okay. In this segment, I'm going to ask you, would you rather win the NBA Cup or something else? And I want you to give me your genuine answer. Would you rather win the NBA Cup or this? Okay. I want to see how much you all care about this NBA Cup. Okay. I've brought 3 examples, and this is a group participation game. So TikTok, if you guys are enjoying and you want your answer read, be sure to come through to the Twitch stream. We would love to have you over here. The link is in my bio. Come through and get away from all of the idiots in the TikTok stream. Okay, here we go. Y'all ready? The first one's pretty easy. I think I know what you guys are going to say. Okay. Would you rather have your team win the NBA Cup or find $500 on the ground? Would you rather have your team win the NBA Cup or find $500 on the ground? Y'all let me know. I'm seeing the majority so far be the $500. The majority so far is the $500. I don't know what the TikTok's saying. I closed their chat. But the Twitch chat, the majority is all saying $500. They're saying in this economy, $500. Okay. So my answer is the $500 because with $500, I could buy a flight, go watch the Pistons in Detroit, get some good ass seats and sit right behind the bench. I'm taking $500. That's literally $500 that I didn't have before. I can buy a flight, go watch the Pistons. Somebody in the TikTok said the F5. I'm closing that chat. Come through to the Twitch stream. I'm coming to the. Somebody said y'all broke LMAO $500. Yeah, I'm closing the TikTok. If you guys wanna talk to me, be sure to swing on into the Twitch stream. Okay, be sure to come on into the Twitch stream. Last message I saw on the TikTok was, I think he's saying this to undermine the Knicks winning. No, I congratulated the Knicks a lot of times last night. This is to make the segment fun and to undermine the cup. Okay, not the Knicks. Why are Knicks fans so fucking sensitive? Jesus Christ. Okay. I closed the TikTok chat officially. I'm done with that. If you guys want to swing on into the Twitch stream, be sure, link in my bio. All right, next one, y'all. Next one. This one's a little bit harder. I'm surprised y'all took the $500, but I took the $500 because I'd rather just go watch the Pistons, right? And as somebody, right, I think I gotta defend my answer. And I know you guys, you don't really have time to say, yeah, see, like $500 won't get me a decent seat in Toronto. So like you guys are explaining why you would take the $500. Let me explain why I would take the $500. I would take the $500 because that's a flight and tickets to see the Pistons. I've seen the Pistons win the actual championship in my lifetime. So I don't really think, I think this morning I'd wake up just the same had the Pistons won the NBA Cup. So I don't really care about that. Okay. And we got some very, very, very interesting questions up next. Okay. Would you rather have your team win the NBA Cup or make the conference finals, but lose in 5 games? Would you rather win the NBA Cup or make the conference finals and lose in 5 games? What would you rather? Wow, that's 3 NBA Cups already. I'm taking the conference finals. I'll explain why, and if you guys have time to explain why, let me know. TikTok, just so y'all know, I closed your chat down. So if you guys want to talk to me, the only place to talk to me is the Twitch stream, y'all. Jay-Z Uncut on Twitch. The link is in my bio. I closed the TikTok stream. So if you guys are interested in talking with me and get involved with a community of basketball fans, actual basketball fans, not just rage baiting 14-year-olds, be sure to swing on into the Twitch stream. If I win the cup, do I make the playoffs? Yeah, you'll make the playoffs, but you're not making the conference finals is what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? I'm seeing a lot of cups, but I'm taking the conference finals. So the reason why I would take the conference finals is because that means for me, now all of our answers are supposed to be different in a sense, but for me, again, I got to say that I'm a Pistons fan because this is why I would choose the conference finals over the cup, is because I just won 2 playoff series. We haven't won a playoff series since 2008. I would rather make the conference finals. Now, if you are a Thunder fan, yeah, obviously you would pick the cup. So it's different each team. You know what I mean? It's different each team. You would obviously rather win the cup. So like that's sort of how it goes, right? That's how it goes. For me, we haven't won a playoff series since 2008. So that's why I'm picking make the conference finals. Yeah. Okay. So here we go. Last one, y'all. Would you rather win the NBA Cup or always find parking within 1 block of where you're going? Would you rather win the NBA Cup or find parking within 1 block of where you're going? Always. I'm picking the parking. Every day of the week, I'm picking parking within 1 block every day for the rest of your life versus an NBA Cup. Y'all, you're going to be 90 years old if you make it that far. You're not going to remember a cup, an NBA cup from 2025. You're not. Bro, Neagle's in the TikTok. Oh my God, he doesn't. Wow. 1,000,000% parking. Let me be lazy. F the cup. I'm not playing in it and I'm not getting paid. I live in Arkansas. Give me that damn cup. Okay. That's okay. Is it free? Is it free parking? Sure. Yes. Yes. That's what the term. Yes. It's free. Yes. And you'll always have a spot. Yeah. You'll make it to 90 years old. Yeah. Sure. Okay. But you're not going to remember the cup. I have a handicap tag. I'll take the cup. Okay. So me personally, I'm taking parking. When I go to Pistons games, bro, I got to park so damn far and it's still $20. It's still $20. So I'm taking parking. Fuck a cup, bro. I don't care about an NBA cup. I'm taking parking, plain and simple. And that's all we have today. I figured like that segment isn't too. I want to show y'all the difference, right? Because I love the NBA Cup. I think it's a great addition. I think it's great, right? I think it's a great addition to the regular season, okay? But it's not the NBA championship, you know? It's not the NBA championship. And, you know, as a Pistons fan, I've seen my team in the trenches for the last 17 years, and now they're back. And now I feel like I don't care about the NBA Cup. I would like to win them both, sure. But now, you know, I would like to win a playoff series. That's my goal for the season. That's my goal for the season, is to win one playoff series. And I don't care if we finish first seed, second seed, third seed, whatever seed. As long as they win a playoff series, that's improvement upon last year. A lot of teams think that it's very rare in today's NBA where you see a team go from not winning a playoff series to all of a sudden making the finals. I don't know if I've ever seen that unless they've added like some insane star power, right? Like LeBron, right? When he joined the Heat, right? Like you don't see that. That's not a thing of development. So when you are a developing team, you typically need steps. Look at the Thunder. They needed steps to get that championship. Look at the Celtics. They needed a lot of steps to make that leap, you know? So it's the Knicks' year to make the finals. It is. They've taken all the steps. It's this year that the Knicks should make the finals. Now, whether or not they can win, I think all of us, including Knicks fans, will agree that they stand no chance against whatever is on the other side. If it's the Denver Nuggets, Jokic is going to go for 50-point triple-doubles. And if it's the Thunder, yeah, you're not scoring 120 points. But last night's Cup game, I think it was a lot of fun. And I hope today's episode was fun for y'all, man. It is time to say goodbye. We will be back tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern for the podcast. Twitch chat, stick around. Yeah, Twitch chat, stick around. YouTube, have a great day. And yeah, podcast listeners, be sure to leave a 5-star rating and review. If there's anybody in the TikTok, I haven't read any of your messages in 15 minutes. Come to the Twitch stream if you guys want more entertainment, if you guys want to get to know more basketball fans and join a basketball community where you can hang out, spread news, talk about a lot of fun stuff in the NBA. Be sure to swing on into the Twitch stream. Hope to see y'all soon, TikTok. Where's the TikTok stream? It's minimized, but I can't open it. Weird. Okay, I'll just task manager it. Yeah, have a blessed day, everybody. And until tomorrow, thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. And as always, guys, thank you for watching/listening. I hope you all have a beautiful day. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern. TikTok, go to the Twitch. Okay, chat, I got to be honest, y'all. I think y'all saw me getting a little bit tilted. If y'all saw the comments in the TikTok stream today, bro. Oh, oops, I'm still recording.